Another networking event, another success. Make sure you come to my next one, which lands on Valentine's Day. So all the single ladies and all the single men and the couples, I invite you all to my next business networking event, which is on the second Wednesday. It lands on 14th of February. I'll see you there. Hello, hello. Do you want to do hello?
Yep, hello. Working. All good?
Yeah, we're good.
All good. Let's go.
Amit, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming down.
It's a pleasure.
I like that brown blazer.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So tell me about yourself. Tell me who you are. Tell my audience about you, because I remember reaching out to you. Was it a few months back now?
A few months back now, yeah.
And I think, as I was saying earlier on, I seen you on Shivani's podcast.
Yeah.
And I thought, fascinating. I thought, you know what, I want to get him on. His story definitely needs to be heard by more people. And then doing some research on you've got your own YouTube channel. Yeah. You've got so many things going on. And you're a quite inspirational person.
Well, thank you, firstly. My name's Amit Ghose. I was born with a rare genetic condition called neurofibromatosis type 1, a condition many people cannot even pronounce, let alone understand what it means. It's more commonly known as NF1, just to simplify it for people.
Yeah.
It's basically tumours that grow on nerves. It can grow anywhere in the body. There's about 3,001 people around the world that have this.
Okay.
For me, it grew pretty much on my face. It can grow anywhere in the body. So I couldn't hide it. You know, it was very much in the face.
Yeah.
And throughout my life, I've faced various challenges, various stigmas, comments, right from the very first day in school, in primary school, going to secondary school, the transition between secondary school to college, then university, then getting a job, and, up until when I was getting married, and even now, there's, you're constantly battling with comments. And up until 6 months ago, I hadn't done any of this. I hadn't made any videos. I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't doing any videos on Instagram. I wasn't doing any videos on TikTok. But my wife, she kept saying to me, you should talk about your condition. I think you're going to help people. And she kept nagging me to make a TikTok video, like literally.
Really?
Or TikTok or YouTube. She said, do something, like, do some content, because I think, you've got a really great backstory, and I think you can really help people. And I was like, I don't know. And then somebody said to me, I went to a networking event for work, for my day job. And somebody said to me, you should make a TikTok video. You'd blow it up. And I was like, TikTok for me is like dancing and miming, not for me. And as wives keep nagging you, she kept nagging me. So I thought, you know what, I'll make something. So I went for a walk one day. Yeah. And out of some inspiration, took my phone out and just spoke to my phone and said, my name's Amit Ghose. I was born with neurofibromatosis. And I want to take you all on a journey to help, support, and inspire you with my real life stories. And it was literally that. And within 24 hours, that video got over 100,000 views. Wow. And suddenly at one point on TikTok, I was getting more than 1,000 followers and people messaging me. And some of the stories I'll talk to you about today of people following me and commenting and asking me questions. And every day I would share a story of something that happened in my life and how I dealt with them. And that brought me to a point where other sort of content creators started contacting me. There was one called Truly from US who make stories around people with disabilities, Unilad, Lad Bible, Yahoo, all these different social media companies, news outlets contacting me to interview me and put my content out there. Suddenly, 4 months, 5 months down the line, I Google my name and there's over 35 different news articles on me. There's news articles on my wife, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I start sharing some of this on LinkedIn, and the schools started reaching out to me saying, I'd love you to come and do a talk. And I remember my manager at work said to me, you should start going to schools. And he recommended me to his daughter's school and spoke to the head teacher. Head teacher invited me, and I went in. And I did a talk at that school. And all I did was just shared my story, my journey in school, how I dealt with letting my personality, embracing my personality, how I let that shine, and how that got me away from people calling me names to people becoming friends with me. And that caught on. That school then told other schools about me. And now I'm on this crossroad, which I'm very openly talking about, where I want to do this full time. I want to go and talk. I want to help. I want to support. I want to inspire.
Yeah.
So that's the 10,000-foot view of
yeah.
of
It's
what
so
I'm
much
doing.
to tap into there, right? I don't even know where to.
But there's so much. I mean, we probably need to do like a whole series on this.
yeah. No, definitely. So you mentioned that people get tumors on different parts.
Yeah.
It could be, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to see it,
Yeah.
you got it on your face.
Yeah.
From what age?
So we realised I was born in India. So
So you're born in
I
India?
was born in India. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings.
Right.
My dad at that time was in England when I was born, and his plan was, like many South Asians, perhaps to go back after making some money here and set up there. And we had a hotel there, we had our own business, and everything was going well. And then we were from a very small town in the northeast region of India, near the border of Bangladesh.
Okay.
And they saw my face starting to swell up a little bit, and my eye swell up a little bit. And they thought I had a bump or a fall or something might have happened.
What age?
So this was when I was about just under 2 years old.
Right,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So just after my first birthday, apparently. So we at that time, they at that time didn't know what was actually wrong. So they took me to the local doctors. They had a look. They said, it doesn't seem like a bump or a fall to us. It could be something worse. Why don't you take him to Delhi, New Delhi, capital of India, go there, see if there's better treatment, because where we were was quite remote. So they took us to Delhi and they said, look, this is a genetic condition.
Another networking event, another success. Make sure you come to my next one, which lands on Valentine's Day. So all the single ladies and all the single men and the couples, I invite you all to my next business networking event, which is on the second Wednesday. It lands on 14th of February. I'll see you there.
Yes, we can do the treatment here, but of course it was very expensive, very, very long. We don't know if we've got the expertise here. So at that time, my dad decided to bring everyone and uproot all my family to England. And my oldest sibling at that time was 16. So you can imagine everyone came to England. There was some remorse from my siblings at that time because, up until 16, they were in India. They were okay. Now suddenly they've got to change their entire life. They're thankful for it now because, land of opportunities, they've all done very well in their own respected areas. But at that time it was very difficult. So we came here at the age of 2. They confirmed that I had neurofibromatosis type 1, condition none of us have heard about. Nobody knew what this was. Nobody knew what it was going to be like. I certainly didn't know anything at that time. I mean, my very first memories of it are school, which I can go into, is going into school and people not wanting to sit next to me. Other children not wanting to be my friend, either because they were scared, curious, or they felt that if they're my friend, the cooler kids in the school won't be their friend.
Is this in India or here?
No, this is here.
Right.
So this is once I've come here, maybe when I was in year 2 or year 3, when vague memories. So I started my whole schooling life here. So
I suppose that was nursery then, isn't it?
Yeah. So I started my whole schooling life here. So my very first memories are going to school and people not wanting to sit next to me or wanting to know me. My only friend at that time was the support teacher, who used to help me out, and she used to sit next to me and help me and go through things with me.
Interesting. Wow. So that's when they realised that it was something, you had a bump.
Yeah.
And then your dad decided to move all your siblings to UK.
Yeah.
And then I guess then he's just working.
Yeah.
And you've started your school journey, and that's when, I guess, did you realise that something was wrong?
Yeah. So
did it start getting bigger?
Yeah. So the tumours grow. That's the nature of it. So I've had 24 surgeries up until now.
Wow.
In my life. 24 surgeries.
So was it even bigger?
So yeah. So there's images of me when I was 11 years old, just before going to secondary school.
Yeah.
And I used to have a really big eyelid. Literally, the eyelid was huge. And it used to cover my eye.
Right.
And at the age of 11, when I was in year 7, they removed the eye. It was like an 18-hour surgery to remove the eye with various complications. They had the way they do it. I'm no doctor, but they went through the back of the head. They can't just pull your eye out.
They
had to go through the back of the brain.
Probably cut some nerves off and...
Exactly, to take the eye out, and it was very intense surgery.
Why did they take your eye out? Because it was the tumour was affecting...
The tumours were affecting my eye, so they were starting to go into the eye, basically.
Right,
so
makes sense.
The way the brain works, it's something's not right, the brain rejects it.
Right.
So the brain was rejecting my eye, and if they didn't do the surgery, the eye would have just come out at some point.
Okay, so when they removed your eye, visibly you have got an eye up there.
Yeah.
So that's not
So
real
this
eye.
is a prosthesis. This actually comes off. So this I can show you if you want.
Yeah.
This literally just comes off like that. It's literally
Wow.
as easy as that. It's a pretty cool party trick. It's a pretty cool party trick, and then you can just put it back on. So these are the magnets that hold it.
Right.
So you can imagine I had that surgery when I was 11 years old. Those magnets went in when I was 11 years old.
Yeah. But I guess it's been like, what, you're 33, you said
Yeah.
now, and it's been in there like for 20 years.
Yeah.
You're just used to that now.
I'm completely used to it, but
Yeah.
you can imagine in year 7
Yeah.
to go into school, I used to have an eye patch because I had to heal for about a year before they could make this prosthesis for me. Going to school wearing an eye patch in year 7 was brutal because children are probably the most honest and the most upfront human beings.
Yeah.
So they were just like, what is that?
Yeah, just...
Why are you wearing an eye patch? And then it was like the jokes like, you know, Captain America, Bird's Eye, One Eye Wonder, all these different names under the tree that you can, you know, Blobby Cheek, everything was like being hit at me, and it was tough.
I can imagine.
You don't know, at that age, you don't know what depression and anxiety is. But looking back now, I know I was going through those emotions because I did not want to go to school. I did not want to be with those people.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hide in my room.
Did you go college, uni as well?
Yeah. Went to college.
Did you experience that throughout college, uni, or
It got better. It
Right.
got better, and I'll tell you why. And this is the journey, and this is the things that I talk about when I go to school.
Yeah.
And to help children overcome their challenges. You have to embrace your personality, and as a child, we all have hobbies, we all have likes, we all have things we enjoy.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed playing cricket. I loved cricket, and I still do to this day.
Yeah.
Loved the game. And my dad bought me a cricket ball and a bat and all the pads and everything. And I used to bowl by myself every single day in our garden to the wall. Or I'd play with my brother. But when he's not around, I'd just bowl to the wall all day long after coming back from school. And I never really had the courage to ask other school children if I can go and play with them. But then in year 8, one day I mustered up that courage to ask a group of boys that were playing cricket while I was getting out of school. So it was the end of the day. I was leaving and there were some other people there. And I said, oh, can I play with you? And they were like, no. And they were laughing and they were taking the mick out of me, and they were like, what are you going to do? And I thought, no, let me have a ball, please. So reluctantly they handed me the ball. And I remember the batsman, he was holding the bat with one hand, just swinging it around, going, what's this guy going to do? Like, and he was talking to the guy who's standing behind the makeshift stumps, the school bins that we have. He was standing behind the bin and he was just laughing. And I went in, and I was a fast bowler, so I was like holding the seam with those plastic wind balls. And I ran in and I bowled it, and he swung and he missed. And suddenly everyone was like, wait, this guy can bowl.
Yeah.
So the guy who was keeping wicket threw the ball back at me and said, do it again. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to bowl a Yorker. I'm going to bowl at his toes and I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit that bin, I'm going to get him out. So there's me really focusing. I bowl the ball, boom, hit the bin, he's out. Suddenly they're like cheering, they're shaking my hand like, oh, you're really good, you are. And then the next day, the PE teacher calls me and goes, I saw you bowl last night. Why don't you join our cricket team?
Right.
We've got a club and we go out and play some of the schools. Why don't you join? We're going to be doing some summer games. And I was like, yeah, why not? I became the highest wicket taker for that school.
Wow.
That year, up until that point.
Yeah.
And at that point, I went from Amit, the guy with the funny face, to Amit, the guy who plays cricket.
Yeah, they started respecting you, right?
That's the shift. And that happened because I embraced my personality.
Yeah.
And I talk about confidence a lot in schools, in corporations, and in colleges and universities when I go and do my talks. And I think there's 4 main principles of confidence. Confidence is not something we're born with. Nobody's born confident.
Yeah.
Confidence is something you can learn, practice, and perfect.
Yeah.
And the very first step of confidence is embracing your personality. So I talk to young children and I say to them, think of 3 things that you like, enjoy, and you do. The most scary part in our life is going from year 6 to year 7, because suddenly you're going from a small school into this big secondary school.
Yeah.
For me, that was daunting, challenging. But had I known that if I embraced my personality earlier, it would have been easier for me to make that shift, then I would have been a stronger person. So I go to primary schools and tell children, think of those 3 things and go into year 7 with those 3 things. Talk about those things, embrace them, own them, respect them, and you become a stronger person. So that was the shift for me. That's what started this snowball effect of me being who I am,
Yeah.
embracing who I am. And because I embraced who I am, people started respecting that. So the first step, like I said, is embrace your personality.
Embrace your personality. What's the second?
Second one is accept who you are. I hadn't accepted myself up until 6 months ago, I'll be honest with you. Even though I had my personality, I embraced it, people liked me, I got on with people, I had friends. If you go onto my Instagram and look at any photograph before 15th of May 2023,
Yeah.
you'll see every single picture is like this. Me standing like...
Covering your face.
Yeah, I'm doing all these poses where I'm trying to get people to focus on the right side of my face.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't accepted the left-hand side of my face. And before all this happened, before my first TikTok video on 15th of May 2023, when I was talking to my wife's from India. We've had like a part arranged, part sort of love marriage, which is a completely different story, which we can tap into. But when we were speaking on video calls, I used to hold the phone like this to her, and I used to talk to her.
So she didn't know that you...
She knew I had the condition. She was told, and she knew, and she was fine with it, or she wouldn't be speaking to me.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't, so I'd hold the phone like this. And then one day she said to me, if I'm going to marry you, I'm not going to marry half of your face. So quit showing me half of your face and hold the phone properly so we can have a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the point the penny dropped for me. One, I knew she's the right person for me because she accepts me for who I am. But two, I've not really accepted who I am.
Yeah.
And that started a different journey of acceptance.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing that, and then once I started creating the videos, I figured out that it's about belief as well, believing in yourself. Like, I believe I can go and inspire children and make a difference in their life. I believe I can inspire people with my story. And that leads to actions. That leads to me creating TikTok videos,
Yep.
going to schools and talking. And that creates results. And the results are when people come back to me and say, Amit, your story has really, really inspired me. It's moved me. It's when parents message me saying, oh, my boy came from school today and told me about you. Thanks so much for going and doing a talk.
Yeah.
So beliefs lead to actions. Actions lead to results. So belief is the third. And the fourth one, which is the most important and which I teach children, is embrace everyone's differences, celebrate everyone's differences, because we're all different.
Yeah.
When I tell them to do that activity and write down 3 things that they like, enjoy, or do, if everyone wrote the same thing down, it would be a very boring classroom. And they all nod their head and agree. And I said, that's the beauty. Every single one of you are different. Every single one of you has something different to offer to this world. So embrace that, celebrate that. We are who we are, what we are, how we are. And that's the story that I go in with, and the narrative I go in with when I go to schools, colleges, universities, corporations.
Yeah, I love that. And I think even the last one where you say embrace everybody, I think that's very, very important, because the 2 points that you mentioned, one was when you were speaking to your wife. Yeah. Wife, is it? Was it? Yeah. And she said to you, well, I'm not going to marry half of your face, I'm going to marry your full. And the penny dropped for you because she embraced you, she accepted you, and then
absolutely.
As a result, you said, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. And then the second one you said 6 months ago, which I presume when people started inviting you to schools and people started, encouraging you to speak your story.
Yeah.
So I guess other people have to accept you to a point where then you begin to see your potential, right?
Absolutely. And this is all a part of my journey that I've been on in the last 6-7 months of so when I go and do these talks, so I spoke to HSBC not long ago on World Mental Health Day, and I said, I'm no motivational speaker. I haven't gone and done a course on public speaking.
Yeah.
I've not done all of this. I'm here giving you an authentic, real story of my life.
What did they say?
And they loved it. I mean, there was about 300 people watching the webinar across their global offices on World Mental Health Day. And they absolutely loved it because what I was saying was true, it was authentic, and it was from the heart. It was my real life lived experiences. Of how I've dealt with these stories, and I've told them some of the challenging stories of things that have happened in my life that I've encountered that have molded me to be who I am today. Yeah,
interesting. So, you are talking about TikTok, you are a TikTok superstar. You got over 1 million likes. I think around over 100,000 followers by the time this comes out. So you put your first TikTok out about 6 months ago?
6 months, 15th of May, 2023.
Yeah. So how often do you post on TikTok, and what's your relationship like with TikTok?
It's really good. Like when I first started, I was posting like 2-3 times a day, and I was getting a lot of interaction, a lot of people messaging me, a lot of positives, negatives, and I really embraced the negatives even more because it highlighted the problems that are out there in society at the moment. Like, a lot of people would make comments about my wife saying, oh, she's done it for the money, she's done it for the passport, or whatever. And then I could hit them head on.
Because she's from...
Because she's from back home, she's from India. People are like, oh, she's just done it to come to the UK. And I'd hit them straight on and I'd reply back to those comments.
Yeah.
And that would highlight the stigmas that are in society. Like before I got married, I'll tell you a story. I went to a wedding one day, and this is before my wife was even on the scene. And somebody said to me, oh, so when are you going to get married? And then they paused, and then they tapped me. And to comfort me, they said, oh, think about it this way. Would you want your daughter to marry someone that looks like you?
Mm.
And in what way is that comforting? In what way, and it was almost like nobody believed.
That's just an unhelpful conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like the community and the society didn't believe I could get married because of my appearance. Like, you've got a good job, you've got your degree now. Yeah, it's going to be tough to find you a wife. Just accept that.
Yeah.
So now that I've got married, everyone's like, oh, she's done it for the money, she's done it for this. Her family did not want me to get married to her. Her dad, 3 or 4 days before the wedding, said he would rather commit suicide than give her away to me.
So I guess at the moment the relationship up there with the families are a little bit...
It's got better now.
Right.
Now that they've seen who I am and, that whole personality part of it.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, so when I met her through a friend. I'll tell you how I met her. I met her through a friend who's in India because my family were trying to get me an arranged marriage for a while in India. All my other siblings have arranged marriages from India and they're all very happy. And I'm also a very traditional guy. I like being, I'm cultured. I like going back to India. I go back to India at least once a year.
Yeah.
So I wanted to marry someone from India or from my background from the very start. But everyone was struggling to find me a wife because the way arranged marriages work is like virtual Tinder. You swap photographs basically, but you're not being swiped by the groom or the bride. You're being swiped by the parents. So parents are either chucking the photo away or saying, okay, let's move on to the next stage. Mm. So as soon as people were seeing my photo, it's like, yeah, there's something wrong with him. Yeah. So I wasn't being accepted. And I was in India one year and I was talking to a friend and he said, let me see, if I know anyone, I'll let you know. And I thought nothing of it, came to England, and he called me one day and goes, I know this girl who's really nice, really family orientated, and I think you two would really get on.
Yeah.
Can I introduce you? And I said, look, I trust you. If you think she's good, go for it, He goes, right, I'm going to go and see her tomorrow and I'll give her your number and we can swap numbers. So he went and she said, hell no, I'm not getting married. Not because of the way I look, but she's a makeup artist by profession in India. So she was like, I'm booked for the next 6 months. I haven't got time for this. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not getting married. No. Mm. And he's like, no, just talk to him. Just talk to him. She's like, no, I ain't got time. And that was it. And then he came back to me and said, yeah, she's busy. But message her anyway. And I was like, no, I can't just message someone that said no. He goes, no, just trust me. Just message her.
You got a message. It's called follow up.
So I sent her a message. And she replied back after a few hours. Those few hours are the longest few hours of my life. Yeah. Thinking, what have I done? Why have I done this? But she replied back saying, yeah, I know who you are. Your friend, my friend, mentioned that you were going to message me. Yeah, how are you? And we just started chatting. And one of my sisters has moved back to India after she got married.
Right.
And she lives near my wife's house. Mm. So I was like, oh, my sister lives near you and blah, blah, blah. And we started talking. And then we just started messaging each other. Messaging, and there was a click. Like, people ask me sometimes what love is and what relationships are. And for me, it's a click. It's either there or it isn't. And when we started messaging, there was a click. And we kept on talking, and then we started video calling. And it just sort of snowballed. And
how old were you at this point?
So I got married in 2021.
Wow,
so it's going to be 2 years in December this year. So we've only been married.
Wow. So was that your first girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started talking and that led to her being worried about what her family and friends would think.
Yeah.
And she went and told one of her family members and they said, this isn't going to be accepted by our family. What will people say? What
Yeah.
will the society say? That we're just giving you away because he lives in UK. We're not caring about you. No, we can't do this. And it was a big, hard fight for us to get that approval. Her brother was against it. Her brother said to me when I was in India after the wedding that a lot of it wasn't to do with me. A lot of it was to do with what if she changes her mind? What if she is unattracted to me when she moves to England or at some point? He goes, it wasn't just about you know, that. Yes, it was about society and everything, but it was also about looking out for me, apparently. But like I said, her father said, I'd rather commit suicide than let you marry him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the way it happened was, she said, okay, so you're saying I can't marry him because of his medical condition, the way he looks. I will marry whoever you want me to marry, but you signed this document here that says the person I marry will never have an accident, never break a leg, never lose an arm, you know, never get a scar on his face.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll marry whoever you want me to marry. And they were like, well, we can't do that, of course. So they accepted it. And no, not a lot of their family members came to the wedding. Her mum didn't come to the wedding. Her dad came just to give his blessings, and that was it. And then for about a month, I didn't hear from them, meet them. And I stayed in India for about 3 months after the wedding. And then finally they decided to invite me to the house. Right. So I went, and then her mum saw me, spoke to me. And they're very happy now because they're seeing, obviously, their daughter's happy. I've just bought a new house. I've moved in with my wife. Oh, in fact, we moved into our own place last Friday, me and her, and you know, we're living the dream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay. So, what's the relationship like with your own brothers and sisters?
One of the reasons I am who I am today is because of the way my family brought me up, the strength, because they normalised my condition. Like, I go back to my dad buying me a cricket ball and a cricket bat. Somebody said to him, oh, why are you letting him play cricket? What if he injures himself and hurts his face even more? And my dad was like, if my boy wants to play cricket, he wants to play cricket. And that kind of gave me that normality almost, that actually I'm not different. My brother, I was petrified of him. Like, you know, he used to, like, as an older brother, desi beatings. I used to get that. I didn't get any special treatment because I was different. I remember he's a big sound guy and he had these really expensive speakers,
right?
The Bowers and Wilkins speakers, and I poked the Twitter and put the grill back on, and he listened to music and he could hear it, and he took the grill off and he saw it poked. He called me over, like, who did this? And I was like, not me. He was like, stop beating me up. So because he did that, it actually gave me that strength to say, actually, I'm no different. I am just another human being. I'm normal.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is the beauty of it. One of my sisters was really protective of me. She was really scared and she was really worried. And she used to give me a lot of love, but at the same time, she was very worried. And I remember she said to me one day, look, Salman Khan's not married. It's fine if you don't get married. And I was like, why are you comparing me to Salman Khan? She's like, don't worry, you know, marriage isn't everything. And so, yeah, they looked out for me. And they
well, it's good to hear that, you know, your own blood family was really, really supportive, right, in what you're currently doing. So you mentioned that you really want to do public speaking and, you know, you really... So the events and the places that you've been going to now, where have you been getting where people could be flocking in from LinkedIn, I suppose, or
LinkedIn? Some of it is people DMing me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I recently went to the Asian Lifestyle show in Birmingham, Edgbaston Cricket Ground.
Yeah.
Again, that was them reaching out to me,
right,
saying we're doing a panel on disability in the Asian community.
So come down.
Come down and do a panel discussion. I did that with Dr. Ammo, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
Schools, it's kind of snowballing. One school will do a talk with me, and then they will tell their network of schools, and then suddenly I'll get an email saying, oh, you've just done a talk at this school, can you come and do a talk at ours? Never did I have this. If you asked me 1 year ago, I would have never thought of this, and now suddenly I'm thinking of this as an opportunity
career.
of a career. I've been grateful enough to be invited to go and speak in America. You know, I'm going to Texas in April to speak at a charity. They're a neurofibromatosis tumor charity, and they've got a conference, and I'm speaking as a keynote speaker at their conference.
Very good.
So it's all starting to pick up now. There's momentum. And I'm really enjoying it. It's because, for me, it was always like I wasn't chasing the commercial side of it. It was more of the value.
Yeah.
Like, I know if I'm adding the right value and creating the right impact, everything else will follow. If I want to make this a full-time career, I will start getting paid when the time is right. And now, slowly but surely, there's those pockets of opportunities starting to appear, and I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be more of those.
You'll get more, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I guess at the moment, the speaking that you're doing, are you charging people?
I didn't, to start with. Schools I was going in, the few schools that I didn't start, I didn't charge. But now, slowly, I am charging a fee to those schools, but I work with the budget of the schools because I know schools that don't have a lot of money. So I say to them, look, at the end of the day, for me, it's about creating the right impact. So let's work on a budget that works for you. If I'm taking time out of work, it would just be to compensate that time that I'm taking out of work.
Yeah.
Because I'm still doing my day job. I'm transitioning at the moment.
Yeah. So what is your day job?
So I work for a law firm. So throughout my life, I've done business development. So I've been in sales. I started off working on telesales. A lot of it was subconsciously to do with confidence, as ironic that is. I didn't feel confident to go in front of people.
Yeah.
So I started doing telesales, and once you get into sales, you're just stuck in it. Then I did my career in marketing, and then I went into business development. So now I work for a law firm in their marketing team, and I help lawyers build their practice and sell, basically. So that's my day job.
So what do you mean by sell?
So I help lawyers build their practice. So I work for a commercial law firm. They have huge B2B clients.
Yeah.
I help nurture those B2B relationships, find new relationships. So I'll go to a networking event, build relationships with new clients, try and bring those clients into the business, and help those lawyers then sell their services to those businesses.
Oh, sell their services, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When you said exit, I'm talking what, big IPO exits, and I'm thinking, right, okay, makes sense now. You're going Texas, right?
Yeah.
When is that? Is that
April.
next year?
Yeah. So
This podcast will definitely be out before then. So so America, they pay really good.
Yeah.
And especially with you going out now to going schools, you should document everything.
Yeah.
Are you doing that, or?
I am.
Yeah. Because it's like a CV, isn't it?
Yeah. Sort of from September to now, I've already spoke at like 7 schools.
Wow.
And got more bookings lined up for December, January. So I'm in this phase where, I want to transition into this.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's crazy because I had a friend, he suffered from something to do with his leg. It was, something happened. He had some medical, and with every negative situation, there's a positive.
Yeah.
Right? And even though your upbringing, you had this tumor with your, you suffered for your most till your teenagers, and now look at you now.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm a strong believer of everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything.
And you're still young.
That's it. Well, I think so.
I've
got some grey hair, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've got grey beard as well, which makes it really bad, but
yeah. And it's crazy. People don't see that because they see something really supposedly on the surface looks really bad and think, oh, well, that's the end of that. But it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. And like I said, I'm a really strong believer of everything happens for a reason. I got into this law firm that I'm working at the moment. Then my manager recommends me to go and speak at his daughter's school, and then suddenly 5 of the schools invite me because of that. Everything is connected. You might not know where your life is heading right now, but 5 years down the line, you look back and be like, oh, I did that podcast.
Yeah.
And, that podcast led to this. Shivani's podcast led to you. Your podcast is going to lead to something bigger and better.
Yeah.
It's everything happens for a reason.
No, 100%. And you mentioned that your wife was nagging you to do TikTok videos.
Yeah.
What's her background? Why did she must have seen something what you didn't see at that time.
I don't know. I mean, she.
You need to ask her that.
Yeah, I do. She watches a lot of Instagram stuff and YouTubes and all these videos all the time. And I think she was following somebody on Instagram.
Right.
They were called People of India. And People of India have actually done a series on me as well.
Wow.
Which got I think 3 million, 4 million views.
Yeah.
So she said, look at these amazing stories. I think you've got a story. Create a video. Do something. And that's what led to it.
Yeah. Are you on YouTube? You started your own YouTube channel
I've just started my YouTube channel not long ago. That's growing. I've not done a lot of content on it, but I want to.
How are you finding content? What's your, do you find it difficult? Do you find it easy? Or are you just...
You know what? I do it from the heart. Whenever it comes, it comes. I did one before I did your podcast. I sat in this restaurant and I just made a video on confidence.
Right.
And I spoke about how confidence is something we can learn, practice, and perfect. And I used my example. If you told me 1 year ago to go and speak at a school,
I
just said I can't do that But now I've spoke at 7 schools. I spoke at a school last week where there was 400 students listening to me talk, and I was walking along the assembly hall, sharing my story with them.
Tell me about TikTok, because even though you might not see it, it's really good that, you know, you're big on TikTok. If someone wants to grow their TikTok channel, what would you say to them? Because you've grew it too.
Anybody who wants to grow anything on social media, it's consistency.
Yeah.
I think it's consistency and it's authenticity. Be authentic in your messaging.
Authentic, isn't it?
Yeah, be authentic.
Be yourself.
Yeah, be yourself. It's really important. Whenever I've created a video thinking about trying to make it work or trying to get views, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
But when I'm real, when I'm authentic, this works. Like I showed people how my eye opens on one of the videos.
Right.
And I think that video is on 23 million views. It's literally just me taking my eye off, showing people that this is how easily it comes off,
Yeah.
and putting it back on. And there was one where I said, sometimes I open my eye, because when I'm at home, I leave it open sometimes, just so air can go into it and you can get some,
Yeah.
you know, be moist. And sometimes like a delivery man will knock on the door or something, and I'll open the door and I'll notice their face and I'll see them shocked, and I'll apologize. And I said that story on one of the TikTok videos. And I think over 200 people replied back saying, don't be sorry, don't be sorry. And actually now, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I could never think about opening my eye like I just did in front of you. But now I'm like, this is who I am. Why not? This is a part of me.
You've accepted who you are.
Yeah. So TikTok has actually helped me become more confident as well. You know, yes, I went out there to help people, but it has actually made me into a more confident and stronger person.
You get companies reaching out to you and saying, sponsor this and do this?
No, not yet. If anyone's listening, then please do reach out.
I'm surprised because
yet.
there should be a lot of companies that, you know, because for them, you are a platform.
Yeah.
You're a business.
Yeah.
So maybe after this.
Maybe after this, yeah. Who knows?
Right? Maybe after this, yeah. So you're currently still in your job then, right?
I'm currently still in my job.
Are you handing your notice in?
Well, to be fair, my company has been very, very supportive of everything I'm doing up until now. And I'm very grateful for that. But I know I need to do the right thing that's best for me, but also best for who I work for. Because if I'm being paid to do a job, I need to be doing that job. So when I'm working, I'm giving my full commitment, but there's a lot of time that I need out now of that. So either I transition between where I reduce my working days for now and then do what I want to do and then transition into it, or just
I guess you're going to have that conversation with them, right?
Exactly. So over the few months, next month or so, I'm having those conversations with them.
Yeah. Maybe
they're probably watching this thinking.
Yeah, well, this won't be out till next year, so it's always good to have that conversation, isn't it?
It is.
Because at the end of the day, you have to.
No, you have to be open and honest. For anyone who's looking to transition to become self-employed or is doing something at the moment which they're so passionate about.
Yeah.
You have to be honest to all the stakeholders that are around you. You know, that's the best way forward. Because if you're hiding things or if you're trying to work around them, then it's going to come out, and then it's that integrity and everything comes into play.
Of course, you have to do what you love to do and what you're passionate about.
I didn't know that. I spoke to my manager about this. My manager who recommended me to a school, he's left, and he will messages me every now and then saying, "You're going to do great. You know, you're going to do brilliant. Love what you're doing." But my existing manager now, I've had an open conversation with her and said, "I did not know this is going to happen to me. This hit me like a ton of bricks."
Yeah.
You know, 1 year ago we were on a development plan for me to be head of sales. Now suddenly I'm like, I love what I do because the stories that come from the back of it. I'm like, this is just amazing. I want to do this full time. They know I want to do this full time. I've been very honest with them.
Yeah, because it's impacting people, and when we help others, it helps others.
That's it.
So it works. And look, all this is happening because of social media.
Yeah. Social media is a very, very powerful tool. Very powerful. I mean, it has its negatives, but it has its positives as well.
Yeah.
You know, people can get some great source of inspiration from the right channels and the right areas.
Yeah. So have you got any kids?
Not yet. No, not yet.
So I guess you know it's only you and your missus then, really, isn't it?
At the moment, yeah.
So are you like genuinely planning this to do talks all around the world? You want to do that? You want to travel?
I want to travel. I want to talk around the world. I want to inspire people. I want to help, support and inspire people. I recently got appointed by an organisation called Billion Strong as
Yeah.
their global advisor. Now, Billion Strong is an organization that helps give identity to people with disabilities,
Right.
give them a voice, give them a platform to either go and, you know, if there are good musicians out there who are disabled but don't have the platform, they help them give that platform. If there's entrepreneurs out there who are disabilities who don't have the platform, they help give them that platform. And I did a podcast with this company about 2 months ago, and the chairman of Billion Strong,
Yeah.
Deborah Rue, was a host. And when it finished, she emailed me straight away and said, "Look, I need to have a chat with you." And we spoke, and she said, "I want to make you a global advisor for this Billion Strong, and I want you to be a part of our team, because I strongly believe you can add some really, really good impact." So there's things happening from this now, just starting to snowball, but it was all because of
Yeah.
social media.
So when big companies like that reach out to you and ask you for, you know, to come and support, do they pay or do they just?
Some do. Billion Strong will probably at some point commercialize this, but for me, a lot of it is about adding that value, because I'm a strong believer of when you add the value, the money will follow at some point.
Yeah.
You don't chase the money, you follow the value. You chase the value, you create the right impact. That's my philosophy.
What's next for you then?
Another networking event, another success. Make sure you come to my next one, which lands on Valentine's Day. So all the single ladies and all the single men and the couples, I invite you all to my next business networking event, which is on the second Wednesday. It lands on 14th of February. I'll see you there.
There's so much that goes on my head. I was speaking to somebody the other day, Dr. Amo Raju. He's recently wrote a book, Walk Like a Man. His book was called, and he said to me that you should write a book. And I said, it's too early. I mean, what have I done in my life to write a book? He goes, if I sat down with you for an hour, you could probably tell me.
You should write a book.
Yeah. So he said, there's loads of stories already that you've got. And, you know, it could be like a part 1 and a part 2, you know,
100%.
part 1 now and a part 2 in about 10 years' time.
Yeah.
About what's happened between, because he was like, I think in the next 10 years, you're going to blow up. You're going to do some great things. And I was like, maybe, hopefully. And he was like, you should write a book now and you should write a book in 10 years' time. But I don't know. Maybe if the right people and the right support comes to me, then I'll write one.
Yeah, well, I can help you with that if you know, so I can put you in touch with the right people.
That would be great.
If you want to write books, especially if you want to do like, you know, public speaking, and, you know, grow your brand, it helps hugely, massively, because it just puts you as an authority figure.
Yeah.
Straight away.
That's it. No, so writing a book, but definitely speaking, because I love speaking.
Yeah.
And I want to go and speak in countries where people don't have the opportunity to hear about these things. India, Bangladesh, places of
You'll
Africa.
be huge in India as well.
Yeah, because, you know, one of the things that inspired me as well, I'm going to tell you a short story again. Something that happened in India after I got married. I had to get my wife's passport done. And to do that, you need to go to the police station to get a verification done. So we got all the documents, went to the police station, and the receptionist saw me. She saw my documents, and she was like, oh, handed it back and said, it's missing. And I was like, what's missing? She goes, something's missing. She wouldn't tell me what. Thankfully, there was somebody there who had a look and said, actually, you just need to get another photocopy of a document. Just go across the road and it'll be fine. So I went across the road, photocopied it, came back. When I came back, she got up and she said, oh, I'm feeling ill, I'm feeling dizzy, I'm going to go. She went. Somebody came and sat in her position, took the documents off me, looked at it, stamped it, all done. Walking off, my wife goes, do you know what happened? I go, no. She goes, when you left, she asked me who you were. So I said, that's my husband. And her reply was, you married that, not him or this person.
Wow.
Her reply was, you married that? How could you? She made like a funny face, apparently. And that is lack of education. That's all it is. It's lack of understanding.
Yeah, ignorance, isn't it?
Yeah. And I want to go to these countries and talk and educate and inspire and highlight. And people of India, which is a platform on Instagram, are doing an amazing job of sharing these stories as well, because it's starting to highlight that people with disabilities, people with conditions, also have personalities, also have likes and dislikes. They also have their favorite, you know, Netflix series. They also go out to eat. They're human beings.
Yeah.
So treat them like one. And it's about going out to these places and just talking, just being authentic, just being real.
Yeah, no, absolutely love that. So just before we wrap this up, any final message you want to share with people and just let them know how they can reach out to you and
Well, they can find me on social media, Amit Ghose NF1. They're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, like I said. But any messages, just be who you are. Be true, be authentic. Since I started becoming authentic and since I truly started accepting who I am, great things have happened to me. Amazing things have happened. So for anyone out there who wants to create a successful business, be better at whatever they're doing, just be yourself.
Well, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Keep doing great work. I know you're going to absolutely crush it.
Thank
You're
you.
definitely going to crush it. I wouldn't say 10 years. I would say 3 years.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we can get you back on here and do a part 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Thanks
appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank you for your time.